What surprised you the most about sex when you lost your virginity?
There's always jokes that guys only last 30 seconds the first time, so I was very surprised to see myself last about 45 seconds.
My first time was much easier than I've been told, and less pleasurable than I thought it would be.
The sounds that happen, like the mac and cheese kind of noises among others, I didn't know that was a thing and I didn't expect to like them so much.
Macaroni in a pot, that's a whap.
I couldn't get my goddamn wiener in. I'm not saying I'm some giant penile dude. She was nervous about much foreplay and we were using condoms. I had like 3 first times because we had a few non-starts. In hindsight, more foreplay and maybe some lube would have been invaluable.
Makes me wonder how prehistoric humans ever figured out how sex works.
Smash smash until something feels good.
Positive, sex is fun and feels good. Negative, urinary tract infections.
Oh god, I got a kidney infection after my first time. Had to go to a. I've always had urinary tract problems growing up as a virgin, so I thought it would just go away, because in the past they would clear up on their own. Not after my first time. I almost fainted in my study group and one of my college classmates had to drive me to a. And turns out I had a full-blown kidney infection. It got so bad. Yeah, pee after sex, people. Run to the bathroom afterwards if you have to. Also, I completely avoid missionary because that's what would increase my chances of getting one.
How much it hurts if you don't know what you're doing.
And how much it hurts if you haven't done enough foreplay.
Nothing changed about me, though I felt super guilty afterwards. Kinda like how on your birthday, you're a year older, but you don't feel any different.
That was the main thing I thought too. How I don't feel any different, IDK, why I expected it to change me all my life.
Maybe TMI, but the thing that surprised me the most was that after the guy finishes in you, it drips back out of you afterwards. I had never thought about it before or the cleanup needed.
That surprised me too, as a guy. I just thought it went somewhere.
That my body didn't move the way I wanted it to. Also that I should probably work out more.
Man, it makes you realize how useful those push-ups and crunches can be.
First was how fast, hard the girl wanted me to do it. She was more experienced, but my impression was that it should be slow and delicate and then ramp up. That was not the case, however. She wanted it like bang 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 right away. And then I didn't come because I was pretty nervous. I found out through more experience that being nervous and not coming was common for me with newer casual partners, but I have no issue completing the task once I'm more comfortable being intimate with the person.
I have this as well. I began telling people that I will not come the first time, but I will still have fun and do my best to please you. Some people take it as a challenge, which I find odd, or think it's a line to make them try harder. I still think it's the right thing to do because managing expectations honestly is a good form of sexual communication.
I didn't know I was losing 60% of my critical thinking and reasoning skills through my penis, but as soon as it left, it never came back.
Newton knew.
How wet everything is.
My first time. The girl went on top, felt like rain. Felt so good, also so weird. All I could think of was how did her body produce so much lube out of nowhere.
When the girl's cat started nibbling at my toes. I didn't know she had one, so it freaked me the F out.
In Soviet Russia, her pee eats you.
How far down the vag was?
Yes. I thought it would be somewhere in the front, like a penis. I just kept trying lower to a point I wondered if she even had a vag.
How the guy being nervous can affect almost everything, and the second time is normally much better when everyone is relaxed. Definitely overhyped and felt like a ton of pressure and pain.
Second time is always better, you're spot on.
How awesome the hugging part of it is.
The passionate part of it is honestly so great, then afterwards the cuddles hit different.
I thought I'd be better at. Ended up looking like a dead fish.
My first time, the girl was a dead fish, starfish, and I couldn't get into it. Also, I was drunk and had whiskey DK issues, but didn't know that was a thing back then. Literally thought I might be gay for a good 2 to 3 months because of how much effort it took to stay hard.
That my roommate would be walking in.
Enter player 2.
That it didn't hurt and wasn't awkward. I'd heard so much about how terrible the first time would be that I was surprised that it wasn't.
Yeah. I was sure that it was going to be horribly awkward and that I was going to ejaculate too soon because literally everything I had seen and heard was about how terrible guys are at sex. I was so concerned that I was going to fall into the stereotype. But it was just fun and exciting.
Well, we ended up alone and horizontal with this girl, and I was very nervous about doing the right thing, starting with just sticking it the right place. No questions asked, she took my schlong in her hand and guided it straight where it belonged. I was like, wow, you can do that. Never saw anyone do it in P. That act of cooperation is something I remember most vividly from that day.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
I always thought a girl was meant to bleed after the first time, but I never did, and it shocked me. I just kept waiting for it to happen.
I didn't either, and the guy then accused me of lying about being a virgin.
That's what happened to me too. I was so hurt I didn't have sex for a while after.
How soft mattresses are awesome for sleep but exhausting for sex.
God. This. Being on top as a guy is basically advanced planking when your hands sink 5 inches into the mattress.
How much it was possible for me to nut. On me, on her, on the bed, on the floor, on the wall.
It literally went to the window, to the wall.
How sweaty I would get.
That's my secret, Captain. I'm always sweaty.
Kissing is actually better than I expected. Also, the smells are not something I expected.
The smell.
The first girl I had sex with had the most amazing smell. To this day I don't know what made her pee smell that way, but it was intoxicating. The more turned on she was, the more intense it was, and it drove me wild. Bless that woman.
The vag was not as tight as my hand but a lot warmer. Also, it was lower than I thought it would be and tasted a lot better than I figured an orifice in a dark sweaty area would.
Greater than it was lower than I thought it would be. This was my biggest thing. Probably since the P I had watched was mostly Skinny Max, but I def thought the opening was in the front, not down low. Had one girl tell me she was surprised that DKS pointed up when erect. She thought they just got to 90 degrees and stopped there, probably from all the boner tense in movies.
How warm it was. I mean, it makes sense of course, but I was still surprised. The penis spends most of its time outside a body and shedding heat. To suddenly be put into a 37-degree environment, and insulated there, caught me off guard. Edit. OMG people. Celsius obviously face with rolling eyes, tongue out.
This is interesting because as a woman, the thing that surprised me most was how warm his penis felt right before he inserted it. It's the only part of my first time that I vividly remember.
I had to move my girlfriend's legs up so I could get in. For some reason, I thought her legs could just be flat on the bed. Also, how much closer it can bring you with someone you love. I thought that we were pretty close beforehand, but afterwards it was like we knew each other on a deeper level. Every look, touch, and kiss was suddenly just much more meaningful, and not just in a sexual way.
It's almost like when you have a near-death experience with one of your friends and you always have that connection but 10x stronger.
Beforehand I had heard a lot about men coming too quick. Afterhand I was pretty disappointed since I didn't come once or even enjoy it really. Edit. Thanks for all the awards, kind strangers, and also for the supportive comments. Now I don't feel alone with my issue, and also I got to change my mindset.
When I lost my virginity I was so effing nervous and didn't come. The lady I was with was super sweet and just told me to relax and it would come when we had sex later on. The second night I felt much more relaxed, and it felt amazing. I came, and it still is the best orgasm I've ever had in my life. The mess. I bled a lot and threw the sheets into the mattress. The duvet cover, pillowcases, fitted sheets, all total carnage. Sweat, body liquids, blood, everything. It's good the weather was nice the next day. I still have a photo of everything drying in the garden like a hang of shame. I started keeping towels, water and wet wipes next to the bed every time I would have sex again. It was a whole procedure. I don't have one now, lol. Also, how much I like the feeling of another person orgasming. I like my own, but I like the other better, to the point of if I come and then my partner comes seconds later I come again. The sounds, the feeling, the little shakes, the way you just know. So good.
Feeling a girl orgasm while inside him is so satisfying. Best feeling in the world. The large amount of sounds that can be produced by the human body.
My girlfriend, who was not a virgin, Had to warn me of the queef noises vags can make during sex, so I didn't laugh in the middle. I wasn't the most mature.
When there is talking and laughing, the deed is way more enjoyable.
The warmth and the bumps inside the vag, literally thought it was the greatest thing ever, still do.
Well said. Did surprise me also. That's still pretty nice lol.
How effing physically demanding it was lol.
If my gym teacher told me that this is what I'm preparing for, I would have worked out a lot harder, I'll tell you what.
How much I'm out of shape. After about 4 pumps in I was looking for an inhaler. Edit. Holy crap, thank you so much everybody for the likes and rewards, you guys are the best.
Coach, call a timeout.
How much is about the foreplay? Yes, I am a woman.
Seriously, my partner and I don't like penetration for a variety of reasons, so we really only do what other people would call foreplay. IDK if it feels as good physically speaking, BC it's been a while, but it's definitely way more enjoyable and fulfilling for us.
That you can come under 1 minute.
I legit came on my first pump when I had sex for the first time. Luckily the girl I was with was understanding and I managed to do much better on the second attempt 10 minutes later lol.
That a penis can actually be that large. Just by the roll of the dice my first is still the biggest I've ever seen by far, so I guess you can say that was really surprising.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I didn't realize people could move their DKS, if that makes sense. Like, there's muscles in there. I don't watch PO or anything, although I'm not against it. Maybe I should get into it, study up for next time. Also, I have a mild tic disorder. Somehow, I didn't realize having sex would activate my tics. So yeah, that surprised both of us.
Shower sex is not sexy or practical.
How much I like foreplay and how many guys don't like foreplay. Also, big DK does not mean good sex. It can actually be very, very painful. I didn't realize how much I'd bleed when I lost my virginity, thought I needed to go to a hospital.
Well, first off, just the fact I has having sex was very surprising to me.
Asterisk effing asterisk. Finally.
1. How messy it was. 2. How ordinary it was. I mean, it's fun, but so are roller coasters. It's just one of those things that people hype up so much that it gets to your head. It's just this thing people do.
Lot of comments here saying basically this, which I'm glad to see. Especially as a young man, society hypes up sex as being literally the best thing ever. You should trade your dignity for it, you should take risks for it, you should define your worth on it, you're not a real man until you've lost your virginity, etc. Turns out it's a good time. But not really more of a good time than plenty of other fun things. I honestly think sex ed needs to go more in this direction. Not don't have sex kids, your DK will fall off and you'll die screaming. Instead, hey guys, sex is fun, but don't do anything stupid for it, it's not worth it. If you wouldn't take a certain risk to ride a good roller coaster, or watch a good movie, or play a good video game, don't do it for sex.
How terrified I was afterwards. All I could think was, please don't let her be pregnant. We used protection, but what if it failed? And how much shame I felt. I knew that I shouldn't have, not because it was a sin or wrong, but because I was so terrified it probably meant it was a bad risk to take. Every time after that was the same. Shame that I let my hormones get the best of me. I knew my wife was the woman I wanted to marry because that didn't happen. It felt right.
That being a virgin really wasn't that big of a deal. It's not like your whole life changes after having sex. You're just probably a little more confident for a day or two and that's that. Big whoop lol.
Greater than it's not like your whole life changes after having sex. Unless you get pregnant or get a serious STI.
This is the horniest sub on Reddit.
People, what's the sexiest sex you've ever sexed?
That's it. I thought I had done something wrong cause I thought it would have felt more magical. The climax felt pretty much the same as jerking off. It also took much longer than I would have thought considering all the jokes I've heard. Turns out I'm not a minute man.
My first thought afterwards was that this was overhyped.
How expensive it is.
Sex with escorts is surely cheaper.
Thank you for watching. We upload new videos every day, so be sure to come back for more fun. Please consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed the video.